Hi guys, welcome back to Uncut with Kobe and Andrew for episode 6.
Episode 6. What the
Yes,
heck?
it's so crazy. So we've done a whole month of Uncut, and we've had such good feedback. I don't know. How about for you?
Yeah, it's been crazy because we record these things and then we would post them and then all the feedback on social media, oh my gosh, you're doing this, and and then that one, those screenshots I send you where it's people are just hey, I just listened to Jana's episode, or I just listened to this, and they're we really resonate with that, and it's just it feels so good.
It feels so good, especially because we just we're this is just an idea and we're just gonna do it and not really having expectations, and I don't know, people are inspired, and we're gonna keep doing it, and so
we're gonna run with it, and we're stoked. And we're on episode 6, and we have such a special guest today. Everyone's special, but the baddest. It's the baddest guest. The baddest bitch. We got Bretman Rock. I had the opportunity to work with him during the pandemic. I was on set for his MTV show, and it was so crazy because I got to interact with the LA crew, work with, because I've never been exposed to that, and just being that, I was sending you photos and everything, I'm so stoked to be here.
Look at this camera setup, and there's a whole team, but then you guys created a really great connection.
Yeah, so it was cool because we're both raised here, and we just connected on set, and it was so cool to after everything, we kind of had jokes and stuff and whatnot, but then after the whole shoot, the MTV shoot, I was okay, we're done, whatever. But his management actually reached out and was hey, do you want to create online YouTube content for Brett? And I was heck yeah, why not?
So you've been going consistently and creating a lot of social content.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been over a year now.
Yeah,
because we started in 2020 during the pandemic. 2021 went by, and now we're in 2022. And we're still creating content, and
that's
it's so
awesome,
cool. Yeah,
because he's a freaking huge star.
It's crazy. I
mean, I don't know a bigger star in Hawaii, honestly. His following and his influence and all the things that he's doing, it's almost he's only getting started.
Yeah,
because all the things that are kind of coming up for him, and you guys are shooting a second season.
And it's so crazy because all of this, he was already famous and stuff before, but he really got even the momentum kept picking up after the pandemic, or during the pandemic, and just to see, it was cool because when you see people on social media, you're always oh, are they really like that in person and whatnot? But with Brett, he's genuinely authentic and real, which I love. He's super funny in person. He's very chill and exactly what you see online, and he's not fake, which I think that's where we connected as well. And
so we just had fun for an hour of recording. It was just him in real life, just talking, and he was just what you see on YouTube.
So excited to share this with you guys. It was so fun. The hour passed by. It was actually an hour and a half flew by, and just whoa,
we could have gone longer even. But
so we might have a part 2. But
so super grateful to have him here. It's such a fun talk, and hope you guys enjoy it.
Okay, so today's guest, like I said, does not need an introduction. He is the singer, songwriter, coconut connoisseur.
No, you're wrong already. Singer, songwriter, actor, actress. Activist. Come on.
Sorry.
Back to the top. Back from the top.
How about we let you do it, the baddest bitch?
Okay, fine. Hi guys, it's me, Bretman Rock, singer, songwriter, actor, activist, a scientist, on sad star. Of course, today, yay. Yeah, a coconut water connoisseur, and the newest MTV star, and Nike as well. The newest Nike athlete too.
Yes,
and here we are
Playboy.
Today. The list goes on.
Yeah,
and I
just keep adding
on
every time.
Adding, and I'm gonna be a podcast host soon. This is my practice.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
I'll add that on too next time you see me.
It's gonna be a minute intro.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, thank you for being here. We're so excited.
Thank you for having me. Andrew left me no choice. Held me hostage, actually. It was you're coming or I'm never filming for you again. And I was fine. I need a videographer. So I was
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. But also, I just feel I love being in the studio environment.
Yeah, well, you're so good at it.
Thank you.
a whole career and personality around that.
Thank you. I just love being surrounded like by mics and like cameras. I feel like something about it turns me on.
Yeah.
Not like sexually, but like turns Bretman Rock on, like the facade.
See, but what's cool about that is like you're one of those people where it's like in front of the camera, even off, because I have the opportunity to know you off camera. You're so humble and authentic, and I think that's what a lot of brands and your viewers and people love you for that. So
I think a lot of it is just my environment too. It's like every time when we're together, obviously I see you as a friend now. I don't even see you really as someone that like works with me or for me. So yeah, it really just has to do with the environment. I'm always surrounded by
energy.
Yes. And I feel like I'm always just surrounded by like good people. So there's no point to be like not be good.
You attract good people and good vibes.
I think so. I think so.
So talk to us about your rise as a creator, because you've been doing this for
a long
minute
time. Forever.
Already.
Yeah.
Girl, I came out the womb with a selfie stick. Girl. I
Before
came out
influencers were a thing,
yeah. I was in the womb like, hey guys, I'm about to come out. Wonder what the doctor will say my gender is. Yeah, so I had a vlogging camera in my mom's tummy. No, I would say I started this whole journey before the word influencer was ever really even a word.
Yeah.
I can't even spell influencer really. Before people could even complain about the algorithm, before Instagram even had videos, So when we all thought Instagram was an editing site, but it was really just to share photos. So I started literally way back, and I want to say I almost want to date it back to like even as early as like 4th grade when I was making my mom's email to sign me up for Club Penguin. Like that was my first social media, girl. Club Penguin and like the Polly Pocket world. I ran that.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Like I was that girl. So that's kind of how I started. Like I want to say I grew up in this industry, and like over time, obviously YouTube happened, and one day on my cousin's iPod, I just found, and I went through like this hole on YouTube where I was just like watching all of these Asian girls put on makeup and like put on like not even makeup at the time, but like because Michelle Phan had us like putting eggs on our faces because she swore that it tightens your pores, and I was like, say less, say motherfucking less, Miss Michelle Phan. So I was exposed to the beauty industry really early, and my first memories of it were really just like Asian women. It was like Bub's Beauty, Michelle Phan, It's Judy's Time, and other like brown ladies like Dulce Candy, So these were girls that I'm not gonna say they look like me, but these were girls that look like my sisters and like my cousins, And I was just in awe, and I fell in love with women and vanity and internet, really. Like, and I was like, oh my God, these girls are just like putting on random shit on their face, and I could do that. And then one day I stole my mom's like prepaid phone. And I used up the 2 gig memory on her phone, making like commercials on her phone. Like I would use her Pond's code cream and be like, buy this. Like literally just like think like, cause and I swore I was gonna upload them on YouTube, but yeah, they just lived on my mom's phone. I got in trouble for it cause she couldn't save numbers. But yeah, that I would say that those were like the beginning, like humble stages of Bretman Rock. Yeah.
And then YouTube found you, and then you just
So like what kind of like pushed you to like upload that first video?
For me, I would say my friends, especially like
Snapchat and stuff back
yeah,
then.
I'm gonna give y'all a shout out if y'all are listening. Miss Dream and Miss Dream specifically, she would always pay me $1 to make her laugh.
Oh, your first client.
My first client, girl. My first
Paid
client.
partnership.
Girl,
Shout out to her.
Miss Dream.
Miss Dreamweaver, I love you. She would pay me like $1 to make her laugh, and I would read like these poems that I would find on Tumblr, and like,
Oh my God.
And so it was through kind of like her, like telling me I was funny every day. And like obviously not just Dream, but like all of my friends, they would call me like Britney Spears when we were in high school. And I was also a part of like student council, so we had like Ilima TV, and you know, girl, my gay ass lived for that. Girl, I was always introducing myself as Britney Spears, like on Ilima TV, and I'd be like, "Hey guys, it's Britney Spears here. Today's schedule is 1, 3, and 5. It's the odd days, and for lunch we have, what were like my favorites? Kahlua pig and rice, girl. Yep. Like you know, we had that once a month, every first Tuesday, girl. I marked it. Don't fuck with me. But yeah, I was always in love with like seeing myself on TV or like in any type of like technology, really. And because of that, my friends were just like, "Girl, you need to make these YouTube videos," and I just did. And I don't want to say like I think I just like did it naturally. Like I beginning parts of like my YouTube videos are thankfully deleted now, but not thankfully for my career, because honestly, I wish I didn't delete them, but.
Have them in a backup hard drive. Like
yeah,
they're somewhere.
They're somewhere. They're like, you know what they say, once you upload them, they're somewhere. Yeah, so YouTube, grab me my old videos, please. I know it's somewhere in there. But yeah, I used to think I was a fashion girl, and I would teach people how to like make flower crowns, and I would do like summer lookbooks and shit, as if we had other seasons besides summer in Hawaii. You know what I mean? What else would I be dressing up for? So those were my first videos, where they were literally just like fashion videos. And then, yeah, like those were 8th grade videos. And then I wouldn't say I was a full-blown influencer until like summer of freshman year.
When you started doing like the makeup tutorials?
No.
Was that one video where you slapped Princess, right?
Yeah, that was still when I was like still kind of like not experimenting yet with makeup. I was still just making short clip videos. And it's funny because I feel like I'm one of the few influencers who got their rise on Snapchat. I know, and I whisper that because I fucking hate Snapchat. After they did that update, I was like, I hate Snapchat now. Like, this is so whack.
You guys hear that?
Yeah, yes, and I take that to the fucking bank. But I stopped using Snap. But anyways, I would always send like my friends snaps all the time. And obviously Snaps is 24 hours. Also, I don't know why the fuck I sent it to all of my friends when they could really just watch my stories. I had to make sure they saw I was funny. I had to make sure you saw I was funny.
She opened it.
And I saw that you opened it.
Yeah.
Because like posting in your stories is one thing, but if I send it to you, I know you opened it, and it's most likely that you reply. But anyways, I would send on 90 of my friends every Snapchat that I posted, and I think over time they probably just got like tired of me like Snapchatting them every day, but 2, some of them would also tell me like, "Brett, you need to upload these on Instagram." So I took those 80 videos that were saved from my snaps and I uploaded them on Instagram. And one day my friend Laura, shout out Lawrence, was like, "Brett, I was trying to show your videos to my uncle, but you're on private." And so I went off private, and there was already like 80 videos waiting for the world to see. And so I think...
Were you always Bretman Rock on Instagram?
Oh, okay. I was always at Bretman Rock. Okay. But not on Tumblr. I was thiskidhasswag.tumblr.com, but that's a whole nother story. And then Vine picked up, and then that one video with me doing "I'm so fancy," and it was me pulling out my sunglasses. That went down, like it was my sunglasses up here, and I pulled down like a scarf, and the sunglasses fell with it, and it looked cool at the time, and it was giving very much transition videos before transition videos was a thing. But yeah, those were like my humble beginnings. Just my friends.
Just being yourself.
Yeah, and you're still yourself, which is awesome.
Yeah, just my friends forcing me to upload things for their uncles. Really,
shout out to your friends. Yeah.
Shout out to Lawrence's uncle, girl. Without you, I was not probably gonna go off private.
Shout out to your 90 Snapchat friends.
Honestly, shout out to all 90 people that went to Campbell with me, those are all just like Campbell kids that were probably like in track and student concert with me. So.
And they saw you every day too, and then they would see your snaps and everything.
Yes, yeah. And
That's
then
your hype crew right there.
That really is. And honestly, I went off private at the beginning of summer, and not to flex, but by the time I had to go sophomore year, I had already had like 10K with me.
Crazy.
And I walked in like, yeah, I'm that girl.
This
How
is
much followers y'all got?
Yeah,
exactly.
This is huge back. I mean, it's huge now, but like even back then when first.
Anything that, even if you had like a K next to your following, girl, that meant like the
You're
world.
somebody.
Yeah, I was like, girl, the whole island knows me. What? But yeah, that was that.
And now you're at
an
what?
M.
Yeah.
Now I'm at an
Multiple.
M. I think I'm at 8.2 now. 18.2, but who's really counting? Who really counts these days? Come on.
We started at 90.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. And
6 years. Is it 6 years later?
22 right now.
2015 was my first
Okay,
video.
so
So
seven.
8, almost 8.
Yeah,
7,
seven. That's wild.
I know, and weird.
Would you ever imagine? I mean, I know you're like really into manifesting and
Yes.
but would you ever back in Campbell High School, that like 15-year-old Bretman, like would you even have imagined that this is what your life would look like 7 years later?
To be quite humble, honestly, no, I'm not even gonna be humble, but honestly, I feel like I have always was destined for success. But in a way, I never knew where the success was gonna come from. Like, obviously, I didn't know I was gonna be famous. I can sit and lie to you and be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, my grandma always told me I was gonna be famous because she said my name was very loud." But I never knew what that meant. But I just knew it meant success. And so I guess to answer your question, like, no, I didn't know I was gonna be famous, but yes, I knew I was gonna be successful at something because for some reason, and I really, truly, I truly mean this in the most humblest way, but like every time I put my mind into anything, like I'm always successful at it. It's really rare that I'm not good at something, and
it's a strong trait to have.
I truly mean that in a very humble way. Like, it's hard to suck.
Unless you want to. No. No, but like it's such a strong trait to have because once you set your mind to something, you create that
for
success.
sure. And I feel like it's also like my competitiveness too that comes into play. But
you just knew it deep down that this is who you are going to be, you're meant to be, and had the confidence to step into that, because you could also be like knowing but then also like afraid to put yourself out there or whatever.
For sure.
I don't think you have that problem.
No, I'm actually more scared to like not do things than like to actually do things, because I hate the what ifs. Like, oh my gosh, if you just were like to see how I actually am, like there's days where like I write down like my workouts, and if I don't finish like maybe like the last bit of it, I will think about that last bit of workout that I didn't do all day. And there's times where I woke up in the middle of the night,
it's like I gotta do it,
still high as shit, honestly. and I'm gonna go do my 1 minute plank because I didn't do it in the morning.
And that's all on you. Like, nobody's telling you,
No,
like checking in on you and
yes.
being like, did you do that 1 minute plank? That's like, you're putting that on yourself.
Yeah.
and that's such a strong mental game.
Thank you. I like to think that I'm not the most like motivated person, but I am like a very disciplined person.
Yeah.
And I just have to get shit done.
Yeah.
Were you always like this, or like did something happen, or?
I think I'm about to like, throw my siblings under the bus real quick. But when my brother and my sister moved to America way before I did, I was 2 when my mom, my brother, and my sister moved to America, and I was left in the Philippines with my dad. And I think it was just like the eagerness of like wanting to live the American dream.
American dream, yeah. American dream, and just like seeing all these pictures that my mom would send in the balikbayan boxes of like my sister at the beach. Oh my gosh. And then like, my brother like at school here, and like they would have like these cool things. And so I think over like when I was watching that as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, like it would be so cool to go to America. And so when I did come here,
I was ready to work at 8 years old, girl. I don't give a fuck. Like, girl,
put me in.
And I just knew that this world was for me when I first, like, literally, I don't know why. I really don't know why. But the first place that we went to when I moved to Hawaii, like, straight off the airport, girl, I'm not even, like trying to exaggerate here. We went to Walmart. We went to Walmart, and in Walmart they have like these cameras pointed at you, and like they have like a live CCTV.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Girl,
you found that camera.
Yes, and just like imagine like this immigrant boy who have never seen his face or like himself in front of a TV. To be honest, I don't even think I've ever saw myself in a picture before I came to America. Besides like the family ones that we had. I just lied to you. I did see myself in pictures, but
in that way,
but not in the live, like on a video.
And in my head, I was like, oh my god, I'm on national television. Like, but really, it was like CCTV. You know what I mean? And
that's so cute.
I stood there and like I'm like, these metal detectors are about to go off, just because I was just like in awe. And like the whole time I was at Walmart, literally the whole time I was just like looking for cameras left and right. Because I swore I was like in Big Brother, and like Big Brother is a big thing back home too in the Philippines. Like we have Big Brother, and so I was like, oh my god, I'm in Big Brother right now. Like people are watching me, like, girl. And like, so I would practice like my, we have that in MTV now, like the what are they called, Andrew?
Like OTFs?
No, the interviews like of the show when they ask you.
The confessionals?
Yes. So I would like start practicing my confessionals at Walmart, girl. I would be like, these cabbages are looking at me funny. Like, I was ready to square up with the produce section. Like,
oh my god.
So yeah.
You've always had it in you.
Yeah,
I would say I always knew.
Star.
Yeah. I was new. At least I didn't know I was going to be famous, but I always knew I belonged somewhere in front of the camera.
Yes. Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Was there a point in your like rise that you were like, oh, I made it, like I'm actually famous?
I want to say there's versions of it, definitely, because the first time I ever felt like that was when I went, one of my first gigs ever, honestly. It was humble flex, but my first time ever on a red carpet was actually for Miss Universe, and it was, I think, I don't want to get the year wrong. I think 2016. They
oh dang, you're just in high school. Like
yes, girl. I just had blown up too. I didn't know what I was doing. But 2016, I had got invited to host the red carpet for Miss Universe, which was hosted back in the Philippines. And like,
oh wow,
in the Philippines, that's a huge deal. Yes, and in the Philippines, like pageantry is a huge thing. Yeah, it's like culture. It's literally our fucking like Super Bowl, girl.
Yeah,
I literally stopped going to school when I know like there's like Miss Universe. Like we do not go to school, girl. Like we skip school for that shit. I'm not even playing. So they honestly just wanted to invite like a Filipino gay boy to host the red carpet. I don't know if that was their intentions or not, but they invited me, and it was my first red carpet ever. And I just stood there like, oh my god, what do I do? And like someone has like your name on a card sheet, and like they post it up, and then these like photographers are saying Bretman. I'm like, yeah, damn well you didn't know who the fuck I was before I stepped in here. Like, but when you have like that many people like yelling your name,
all the cameras,
it's hard not to feel important. Honestly. And like flashing lights, and so I would say that was the first time I felt like I made it. But I think the more recent one was probably my Playboy cover.
Yeah, that was so huge.
Yes, that
iconic. Yeah.
And I feel very selfish because when I was at the shoot, and even like when I was like proposed to have the shoot, to be honest, I didn't really think much of it. Like I was like, oh,
really?
Yes. Oh my god, I feel like such a
cover.
I know. That's literally. I was like, oh girl, another one. Here we go. Because honestly, last year after my MTV show, my press team really like, girl, they were pressing, girl. They had me in every like magazine that I've ever wanted, from like Teen Vogue to like Nylon Manila, Candy magazine. Like I was like, it was back to back, girl. Like humbly. And when Playboy came out, you know, I just came out from like after doing all those shoots. So to me, I was like, oh, girl, another cover.
Like, oh, yeah.
But I think the effects of it and like what it actually meant for like
It was huge. Yeah, it's very iconic.
It goes beyond me. It was for just not even like me, like, you know, it's for every gay boy ever, you know, because I really genuinely believe that everybody, whether you know, you're a woman or a man or gay or in between, like everybody deserves to be a sex icon, and everybody deserves their own Playboy cover, and you know, and I didn't feel that until like I was reading messages from like other queers who never saw that coming, you know, because I am the
when you think of a Playboy cover, it's like, you know, these women and all that.
Yes,
but like for you to be the
white
cover,
women,
white women,
that look a certain way,
for sure, and it was like almost like a big fuck you to like to what sex is, you know, it's like, and Playboy, what I appreciate about Playboy is that like, you know, it's one thing to say like, oh my gosh, like about time like you have like a gay man on the cover, but like Playboy have always been like ahead of the game. Like they have always fought for marijuana. They were the first magazine cover to feature a transgendered woman, and I think this was like in the, I don't want to get it wrong, but like I think it was like late 70s, early 80s.
Oh wow.
That happened, and back then that was unheard of, you know? And so like people will be like, this is new. I'm like, no, it's not. Playboy have always been like fighting the good fight.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. More you know. and I think what's also really cool, and I think why I don't appreciate myself like not making Playboy a bigger deal than it was because like that was something that I manifested right when I went freelance with my manager, because I was with a manager at a time, and then my new manager now, we left that agency and we're on our own, and we made like a dream board, and we were writing down all these things that we have been accomplishing, honestly, like the Nike thing, like that was in our dream board, like that's, you know, crazy. Even MTV. But for Playboy, I literally looked at her and I was like, I want to be a sex icon, and we were like, what is a sex icon? And we just drew the Playboy bunny. We literally just drew the Playboy bunny in our thing. And one day I was getting sushi at Duraku, and they were like, oh, it'll be 10-minute wait, whatever. So I was waiting for my sushi, and this lady came up to me and she was like, oh, can I get a picture? And I was like, oh my god, girl, I'm so famous, like I can't even like wait for sushi in peace, like I can't even wait for sushi in peace. I'm just kidding, but so we took a picture, and then my publicist texted me like literally like 3 minutes after that, and she was like, you just met the my friend who is the casting at Playboy.
Oh wow. No way.
And they're like best friends. What? And I was like, what the heck? And I was like, Paul, you know what to do, girl. Give me that cover. Like, you know?
Yeah, but that's so crazy how it all like aligns like that.
Like you can't,
were at Duraku when she was there. You
in
said
Hawaii.
Yes to the photo.
Yeah. Randomly,
You know, and like those are things you can't like make up, like literally, the universe was doing its thing, and I would say I manifested that shit. Like,
for sure you did.
And
spoke
like
that into
the universe,
existence.
exactly, made things happen,
and it's not like a thing that's like, oh, I'm a girl and I'm on a Playboy cup. Like it's unheard things. Like
yeah.
And I think another reason why that meant so much to me is because just like seeing how mad like middle-aged straight white man was about it.
I bet there was like that whole other side
fed my soul in a different way, girl. Like I was living. Normally like hate, like honestly I get like I get really like sad when I get hate, especially like when it's questioning my values and integrity as a fucking person, because my mom did not raise a rude ass bitch. Like when you fucking start telling people like that I'm mean and rude, no girl, because that is a reflection on my motherfucking mother, girl. And now we're talking about my mom anyways. But just seeing how mad like a cover triggered like straight white men, and like just seeing those like comments with like, I'm canceling my subscription. I'm like, girl, they stopped producing in like 2016. Wait.
Go ahead.
What are you canceling?
What are you canceling? Like, girl, you're just hating to hate. Now you're just saying shit, bitch. And like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, I stand by what I said. Everybody deserves to put on a bunny costume and feel sexy.
That's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody, Hawaii's so proud of you. Like, I mean, for that and for all the other things that you've like accomplished.
I know, and I always try to carry Hawaii with me everywhere I go.
Because
you guys raised like this. I'm not Hawaiian by any means, but like this island just really raised me with so much aloha, and like it's hard not to like let that bleed into who you are as a person, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, you represent Hawaii. I think I've been binging on all the podcasts and YouTube, everything that you are on. I'm like, oh, so proud of you. Like
Thank
the way
you.
that you frame Hawaii. I mean, it's not.
And the way you give back as well.
Thank you. You have to. I try to give back as much as I can, especially with everything that's going on with the world right now. Yeah. And it's also good for taxes.
Hey, just benefiting everyone.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I mean, it must be hard being who you are and still living here and having to fly. Like you're like flying out to LA, like flying out to New York. Like, could you even ever imagine not living here?
My gosh, knock on wood. But I really do feel like I'm nearing the part of my career where I'm gonna have to start like staying there more often. Just because like projects have been longer nowadays and stuff like that. There's no more like weekend trips to LA, you know? Yeah. Now it's like week trips to LA, and like I'm scared it's gonna turn into months in LA. Oh my God, I'm about to cry. But honestly, the longest trip I've ever had in LA have never even reached like full like 2 weeks. It's always been like 12 days or like 10 days. Just because it's hard to be Bretman Rock in LA, I think.
What do you mean? Like you would fit in?
Yeah, what is that? Like,
so well in LA. I feel like no.
But like your roots are here.
Yeah.
I think it's just hard to
the energy
and like, and I hope I don't come off like I'm blaming people in LA, because it's really not the people in LA. It's just the energy of LA in itself.
A lot of people feel that way.
Right. And it's not the people, like just being in there, girl. I'm like, oh, why am I tired? I just landed. You know what I mean? Like, why is it so draining just being in here? Like, what? You know, so it's not the people per se. But I will say that what I love about LA is that when you're there, you are really just surrounded by people who want to be or is somebody. And I think there's something so admirable about that. And it's people that are you're surrounded by people in not just like in your industry, but like knows the hustle of the industry.
Yeah, they're on their game.
Yes. Yeah. And just, you know, and when you're in this industry, like, it's nice to be surrounded by that sometimes. It's nice to be reminded, like, girl, like, you know, like, there's other worlds out there, and, like, you know, LA is LA. And so, but yeah, to answer your question, I don't see myself, like, living there, like, permanently, fully, but because all of my makeup is here, and all of my clothes is here, and I would hate to like ship all that.
Yeah, Hawaii will always be home.
Yes, and Bretman Rock will always be here, and I think like my best content and just the true authentic Bretman Rock will always just be in Hawaii. I think. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of your like growth happened, but then like the pandemic happened, and then like so many things happened from that. Like, can you go into a little bit about that?
For sure. Pandemic happened. I met the love of my life, Andrew. I'm kidding.
That's going on Instagram.
No, but you know, when the pandemic happened, I had just launched my last makeup collaboration with Wet n Wild. And that was actually my first makeup collaboration that was gonna hit the stores. And and it was so weird because I want to say 2 days right before it was supposed to launch, we had a lockdown, and so you know, like in order to get my things at the store, you got to go to the store. You can't go to the store if we're locked down, girl. So that moment was taken away from me, to be honest with you. But not like, you know, like, oh my God, that moment got taken away from me. You know, but because like people still found it online and stuff like that. And but because of that moment, it was hard not to feel like, oh my God, girl, what the fuck is next? What else is gonna be effed up after this? And so I got a little bit anxious, but then like a week came, like that 2 week of like, you know, when we thought like COVID was gonna be like 2 week, girl, and then 2 years later. Girl, that was like, honestly, like, let's really talk about it. Like the first, like, lockdown, I guess chapter of lockdown was the 2 week thing, the 2 week lie, girl. After that 2 week, I was like, oh, okay, like, I needed that break anyway. I needed that break.
I'm back.
I'm back. And then they want to hit us again with, like, I think it was like 2 months. Like,
something a little bit longer.
And I was like, okay, girl, I'm not going to take a 2 month break. Because, like, bitch, like, for someone who is always constantly working, you know, it's hard not to work in that 2 months. And so I think something just clicked, and I was like, girl, what the fuck are you worried about? All of your content have been from home. Like, and you thrive at home. And you don't go out anyways. So what are you anxious about, Bretman? Like, and you don't even want to go to LA. Like, if anything, like, you know, I'm not saying like the world was doing me a favor with a fucking world pandemic, but you know, it did.
Everybody's on their devices now.
Everybody was on their device. Exactly. And everybody needed something to be entertained off. And I think like influencers and anybody that really worked online, like, you know, thrived during like pandemic. I would say that too. And like a month later, I was having like a full-blown shoot at my house of like with MAC Cosmetics, and they sent me like 3 boxes of fake snow. Next thing you know, I'm making my living room snow, and that was that. And then another month goes by, and I'm filming my MTV show with Andrew, who was the second camera, and at home. And it was also not in LA, and it was also so cool just being surrounded by like just other talents that are home.
Local talent,
local talents. Like I was getting mic'd from someone in North Shore, Andrew from town, you know, and like everybody was, and our security guard, who I still love, was from Waianae, you know, and it was just so cool, like to do what I'm doing, what I would usually do in LA, but to do it at home. And like during lunch break, we're eating like local grinds, we're barbecuing. So awesome. it was hard to feel like work, honestly, like, you know, but you only really remember when they're like, okay, time to get mic'd up.
It's like, oh, okay.
Like, whatever.
Yeah. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah.
And I remember,
the pandemic, I would say was like a blessing in disguise for a lot of people. And like for me, it slowed me down and whatnot. And then like, MTV reached out and I was like, hey, would you like to be on set for this and that? They didn't even tell me who it was. And I was like, I'm down. MTV.
I remember you like sending me pictures of like the production.
You're like, oh my goodness, look at this. Because, you know, I have my own company and whatnot, but I'm not exposed to like the set life and all that. And it was so cool to work with other creatives, like especially the LA team, you know. The producers came in, like the DP, and we were just like, it was just like a whole different game. And then they were like, oh, we're filming Bretman Rock. I was like, oh shit, Bretman Rock, okay. I told my sisters, and they were like freaking out too. And then
and now they like come and hang out at our YouTube video shoots. He has like the best sisters ever. I love them.
Cute.
So it's so cool because like we were able to build that relationship, and like I was not expecting to like create content for you after that as well. But like we just connected on a different level. And then you know, after the like management reached out and was like, hey, would you like to create content for Bretman? I was like, what? Yes.
Now I make him drive to Makaha.
I know.
Twice a month.
I go to Makaha.
Except today, I drove to Almanji today. I was like, you know what? Save the gas money.
Thank you. So
and now we are actually going to be filming season 2 soon. Very soon.
Finally. We've been waiting.
I think you might even be listening to this and we're shooting it. I'm probably getting mic'd up as you listen to this. So who knows?
So it's it's exciting, and like it's cool for them to come back and work with I'm back on set and with another like a bunch of other local people, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. And season 2, I think a lot of people were waiting.
What can we expect in season 2? Can you even say?
I don't even know what I'm expecting for season 2. I think for this season, I definitely ask my team to keep more of it as a surprise for me.
Yeah.
And for the whole cast, because I genuinely love like going on set and they tell us what we're doing that day.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, and I'm not even trying to be like, trying to be sly right now, but I have no freaking idea what we're doing. But
I'm sure it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Anything with you will blow up. Yeah.
It'll be entertaining, I hope. And that's really just my goal. I just want to entertain. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then since that MTV thing, a lot of things happened too, right?
Mm-hmm.
What didn't happen?
Yeah, exactly. What didn't happen? Yeah.
I also have
a week in the jungle.
Yes. Oh my god. Production is very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
just
god.
got like flashbacks.
I really did. Because I don't think you guys even realize that I filmed something in between MTV and 30 Days Until that didn't even fucking come out yet, but I'm gonna just talk about it. It was for Amazon, and so like filming 3 things back to back, and then after that doing a press run for MTV, and then like doing like fashion stuff, and then like magazines. Girl, it was so hard to like breathe.
Yeah, like how do you do that when you have just constantly things happening and you could say yes to probably so much more? Like how do you keep yourself balanced or like, take care of Bretman?
I think part of it is obviously my what was I saying earlier? I'm not motivated. I'm
Discipline.
Oh my god. I just had a brain fart.
You're still thinking about the jungle.
I feel like, honestly, that was so triggering.
I know, you just like shut down.
You felt my energy, girl. Let's not talk about that. Please. Because that was a draining moment. But girl,
discipline.
Yeah, I'm still feeling that energy, girl.
Well, let's talk about. And I just finished watching it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm still feeling it too. But like when you're reunited at the end, and like I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry for him. Like so happy that you're out of there.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I think people don't realize I actually like lived and went in the jungle for that week. But I don't know who the hell YouTube thought I was, like building 3 shelters for 3 days in a row after just what I learned from one day. So they had me go to a boot camp for a day. One day.
Was this here on?
Yes.
It's all here,
And it was with Uncle Cap, which is the head of Samoa in PCC. Shout out to Polynesian Cultural Center. If you ever want to see Mr. Cap, go watch Uncle Cap at PCC. He will be climbing out of the coconut. Anyways, I don't know why I'm promoting PCC right now.
I gotta go reach out to them for sponsorship now.
So I had to learn everything I can from this Samoan man that just came out of the jungle, and he was teaching me how to like start a shelter, start a fire, get food, gather food, what to eat, what not to eat, and stuff like that. And they expected me to learn all of that in one day.
Oh no.
Then they pushed me out in the jungle and expected me to like learn everything I learned in a day to apply that in a week and to build 3 shelters every freaking time I stop. Girl.
And you had to carry all that stuff with you. Oh no.
He's gonna cry.
Girl. I'm talking, because it's still production, right?
Yeah,
People have to be fed. I'm talking when the crew was eating, girl, I had to watch people
eat.
No.
And my mouth, my mouth was, imagine like living in the jungle, you smell like shit, right? You smell like shit, you haven't ate, you're not getting good sleep, you couldn't start a fire last night because it was raining.
Oh, no.
And then they're just enjoying some barbecue.
Rude.
And you smell it too.
That is
And
so rude.
all I ate was like the guavas and like the coconuts of it all. And like, mind you, I didn't shit for like a week. Girl.
Oh, no.
I didn't even shit. Like, and you know the most frustrating part about that was like, well, actually, let me tell you about the good parts about that. One, let me tell you about that first, okay? I had an actual like spiritual awakening in that jungle. I learned so many things, and I feel like I was able to talk a lot with my grandma, which is weird because I if you watch the show, like I went there like wanting to connect with my dad, but I connected a lot more with my grandma and my higher self, and that whole thing reminded me a lot of my true destiny. I feel. And I don't know why, and I hate this about me, but it wasn't until the last day where I truly realized what that whole thing was, and it was a love letter to my childhood self.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Because I went in there like so miserable, like especially like after they put me out there, like to survive, like with a knife. I went in there like so miserable, even though like before that I went to like 5 YouTube meetings being so excited for it. It wasn't until the last day where I realized like, Brett, like, girl, you're gonna go back to your fucking mansion tomorrow, girl.
Yeah.
And and like every morning you wake up mad as hell when you really could just wake up tomorrow and just like put on a show, which is what you are made out for. And so like that last day, I just was like, Brett, like your childhood self could not have even imagined this.
Yeah.
Like you're miserable right now, but like, bitch, you just have to do it because bitch, this is your dream.
Yeah.
Like
That's a great perspective though.
for sure.
Very
And like
It's like that mindset shift.
like you would have killed for this. Like, and if the show was given
that little
to some,
Bretman in Walmart.
yes, literally, you would have killed for this. And if YouTube was to have given it to another YouTuber, you would have watched it and said to yourself, that could have been me.
Yeah.
And bitch, that's my worst feeling. I hate the what could have been. I said that already.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. But yeah, so like to answer your earlier question, like how do I like manage like all of these things? It's really just because I don't want to know the what ifs. What if I said no to that cover, you know? And also like I feel like whenever I say no or whenever I complain about things, it's like a fuck you to everybody that have ever put in work for me. It's a biggest fuck you to me. Like when I turn down big opportunities because I'm scared, like girl,
Yeah.
you've been through so much fucking shit, bitch. Like, you weren't scared ever when you were in Aladdin in 3rd grade, girl. Like, why are you scared now?
We got a comment about that. I have to share with you after.
Really?
We had posted on Instagram, like, if anybody has questions for Bretman, and then one of your teachers,
second
like,
grade
had
teacher.
messaged
Was
about.
it Miss Silva?
I gotta look it up now. But she had mentioned Aladdin. Ask him about Aladdin. I was like, oh my gosh, it is. Wait.
Is it Miss LaBobette or Miss Silva? I
think
will cry. Do not make me cry.
Jennifer Chun Hu.
Oh, that's
She-
Miss Silva.
Oh, so she got
has
married
twin
then,
daughters, right?
She said, yes. She said, I was Bretman's 2nd grade teacher when he moved from the Philippines. Ask him about his role as Aladdin. I'm so proud of him. I still remember when he auditioned. Oh, see, you're just
Oh my god.
unforgettable.
Oh my god. And I just hold on, girl. I'm not gonna cry on the podcast. Just a couple days ago, I also I'll talk about Miss Silva in a minute. But just a couple days ago, I just had posted this letter that my 6th grade teacher wrote to me. Well, she wrote to all of her kids in 6th grade, but on the last day of school, she had wrote to all of her kids, and it was just like reassuring me of like, you are destined for success, and I've always known that when I met you, and like just continue on this path of success, because she knew I was going to be that actor that I always speak of one day.
Yeah.
And every time I read that letter, it's always like a hug from her. Like
Aw.
it's a hug from like someone who just always saw
Greatness in you.
saw Bretman before the world did, you know? And going back to Miss Silva, like, Miss Girl always knew I was a motherfucking gay girl. I was like low-key, like I was her teacher's pet all the time. Like I would stay after school to help her like put away things. I would cut like the paper towels for her. But I remember just like how the audition girl, not her, talking about the audition part. This bitch had us audition in front of the whole motherfucking class. So it was only like the first couple lines though, and it was like, excuse me, it was obviously all the boys wanted to be Aladdin in that class, except like a couple like genies, and a couple of boos. But Boo, right? Boo was the monkey. You know, we had them, and girl, I'm not about to like not be Aladdin, bitch. Like, but if anything, like if we're really gonna talk about it, like, bitch, I would have killed the Jasmine role as well.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted, Miss Silva. I am an actor. But this bitch had us do the audition in front of her class, and I still remembered like the first line. It was like, "Ta-da, that's me," and none of the boys was selling the "ta-da, that's me." They were all like, "Ta-da, that's me." Ew. Aladdin would never. And I gave it my all, and I remembered Miss Silva made it so damn dramatic. It was for a second grade play, girl, and this bitch had us going through a bulletin to see who got the roles. I'm like, Miss Silva, you know damn well you could have just announced it, but it really did give us the
first audition.
It really did. It gave us the High School Musical fantasy of going to a bulletin board. I'm like, did I make it? Did I make it? I'm Aladdin.
Were you Aladdin?
Bitch, I was the Aladdin girl for both dress rehearsal and the play. I was also the understudy, bitch. I was not gonna let a bitch breathe. Like, I got the role, period.
You are Aladdin.
I am Aladdin, and I will body.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's great. I didn't know you were in a Aladdin play back then.
Yes, Miss Silva. Oh my gosh, I love her. Going back to like my girl teachers, I do not know why, but I also feel like I was also so blessed with like all the girl teachers that I had. And I specifically mean the girl ones, because like the boys that I did have, I didn't really relate. Like, I'm sorry, like, girl, they were hot though. Like, shout out to Mr. Brett and Mr. Shin.
Hey.
Y'all cute or whatever. Like, especially Mr. Brett. The Bretts are always hot. Like, we had the same name.
Yeah.
And he would tell me like, oh, the teachers in the break room would always joke about, like, they would always like make fun of him because we had the same name. And I would be like, at least my name is like being like, you know, said. And you're thinking about me, Mr. Brett. And like, oh my gosh. I refuse to say his like last name because he will know, but he is doing my dream job right now, which is a firefighter.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my dream job, you guys.
See?
So
yeah, I was gonna ask you like, what did you want to be? But
yeah, when I'm a billionaire and I get my awards and I'm the best actor of the year and I'm bored, and I'm waiting for my next big movie, I'll probably go into like firefighting. I really want to be a firefighter so bad, just for the fun of it, you know?
Yeah.
Not for the fun of it. Obviously, firefighter is a very serious job. Like, so we need fighter killers out there. Yeah. But just imagine this, like me going to work with my smoky eye, you know, to fit the vibe.
Yeah.
And just like me in my crop top, like I would crop that shit. I don't give a fuck if
like
it's
the
like
station shirt.
The station shirt. Okay. No. Like the full on, like
the full
the
out
suit, bitch. The yellow suit they wear.
Crop
with the suspenders.
With the suspenders, and I'm coming down my pole. Like, girl,
we're gonna make that happen.
You cannot tell me you do not see me as a firefighter. Like, come on. But also, I feel like I could. I have the discipline to be a firefighter.
100%.
You could do anything.
And fire is like one of those things that I actually resonate with. So I'm like, that seems familiar. Like, you know, I love fire. I'm hot, you know. So yeah. I don't know why we got into this segue.
How did we get
of like,
into?
Miss Silva.
Yeah.
Miss Silva. But yeah, and Miss Paniola and Miss, I think that was her name, and then Miss Thompson, who was the teacher of the friend that
Rihanna's
friend. And I would always come to class high as shit, but Miss Girl would always like I don't know. Like my girl,
she's very spiritual.
yes,
That teacher, right?
and she would always, Miss Thompson would read my, do so funny. Miss Thompson would do like tarot card reading with me, like in the middle of class. Like, girl, like imagine like everyone writing their essays, and I'd already typed out my essay because. Girl, when I was in high school, oh my God, this is another fucking segue, girl. When I was in high school, brands had me flying left and right. So I had to do like my essays and work in the plane, girl. I'm talking like, I'm doing like my my yearbook essay, like about like contouring. And then I send them on right when I land. And then like I do work
on to the next thing. Yeah.
I do work in LA and then, or sometimes even New York, bitch. Like, they have me flying out to New York. I'm in a rooftop in New York, and then like I fly back the next day because I don't want to miss school and track practice.
Crazy, yeah.
And you know what was so fucking annoying about that? Like, I would go back to school the next day, like, yeah, I know all you bitches watched my story last night. Like, I'm about to pull up to school. Everybody's gonna ask me about how Miss Universe pageant was. I also went to school with a full crown, like, prepared for these questions about to get asked. Bitch, no one gave a fuck. Not a single bitch gave a fuck that I was famous. Like, girl.
No, they did. They're just trying to play it cool.
I guess you could say that, but like, girl, I was ready for like, press to be waiting for me at school. But no, I didn't expect to be like fucking cafeteria duty right when I land. And they know they was doing that on purpose, bitch, because they would literally wait until I came back to make me cafeteria duty, just to remind me, like, bitch, yeah, you were in New York rooftop yesterday and you will be serving lunch today. We don't give a fuck. This is Eva Beach.
Gotta keep you humble.
Yeah. And it's shit like that like that answers your very first question today. Like, it's shit like that kept Bretman Rock and like very grounded. Like,
yeah.
And it's truly just like my peers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel famous when your friends humble you. When your friends remind you that they know what you look like before your veneers. It's hard.
They know.
It's hard, girl. It's hard to know when there's people out there that knows what you look like before like your clits even dropped. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was so much segues and like into all these different things, but I loved it. And Miss Silva, shout out to you.
Shout out to Miss Silva, Miss Jennifer Chan,
Miss Thompson.
And Miss Thompson. All my female teachers, honestly. Miss Diaz, who was my pottery teacher, who I have a cut right here. Wait, which pottery?
Wow, you scarred him.
Yeah. Wait, I remembered I cut myself here and I had to get rushed out of the
room.
Bitch, no, the fucking ambulance had to pick me up like in pottery class because like when it comes out of the kiln, it turns like the paint turns into glass and like she's like, don't chip the paint, and as she was saying that, I'm chipping the paint with my fucking thumb. Like, what the fuck is this? I didn't paint this blue. Like, I hate when bitches like paint their shit like, because you're supposed to paint like a thin layer. Otherwise if you paint it like thick, when it's like fired up, it turns into like glass, and obviously if it's too thick, the glass will melt. Anyways, I was picking out like the glass part that I had picked out from some bitch who weren't as talented at me in pottery. And I was picking it out and I cut myself, and Miss Diaz was like, see, you fucking dumbass.
I'm a beach.
Yeah. She's every fucking beach, bitch. And I had to get rushed out of the stuff. Why am I talking about that?
Hey, just bringing back all the memories.
Yeah. But you have the cut to forever remind you of where you're from.
And then I even love Miss Vertudazo, who was my student console teacher. She was everything to me.
A lot of role models, especially because then you came from the Philippines, and like I was
always raised by females.
Yeah, like, you have to go to school, and like these are the people that you surround yourself with. Obviously your peers, but then also these teachers really like mold who you are and shape who you are. So that's cool, and like to still see that impact, and you remember them and all that.
Oh,
and they will
sure.
forever be fans. Like
Yeah,
those teachers are
I
gonna be
know.
preaching.
I didn't even know she was following us.
Miss Ali Mazov,
Yeah.
who's another female teacher of mine. She was my 4th and 5th grade teacher. I remember before she had left for Texas, she had gave me her lucky bamboo plant that was always like sitting next to her desk, and it was so
Cute.
fucking funny because everybody took it so fucking seriously. Like she was like, whoever wants, like, and it's just like those typical bamboo, like lucky bamboo plants that you could get at any like Chinese like Gold Mart restaurants, or plant shops. But she picked out my name. She swore. She was like, I picked it out last night, you guys, and I pulled Bretman's name. I'm like, Miss Alimaza, you know damn well you wanted me to have it, bitch. You did not pick out my name, bitch, because everybody put their name in there. Like, do not lie.
Because one day she knew she was gonna be on a podcast.
Yes.
Talking about giving her lucky bamboo to you.
But I found her because I was doing Plant of the Day. I was that was during peak COVID. I fell in love with plants. Found her through Plant of the Day, and she still is very much into plants, and I started my plant page because of her, and I follow her through my plant page.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it's so weird that I just pick up like so many things that like
they left an impression in your life.
that had left an impression from when I was a kid. Like like back like talking about earlier with like student council and being on Lima TV, writing articles for like the yearbook and taking pictures for the yearbook committee, and like art and like painting with Miss Diaz. Like it's all of that shit like that they just like really taught me, like like I feel like teachers are truly like I didn't think I was gonna be talking about teachers today, but like
yeah
gosh, they are truly the most like underpaid. Let's be like but for the most part, they are truly the most underappreciated people ever. And I owe so much to them because like my mom couldn't be there a lot when we were kids. She couldn't really like sit there and like teach us how to speak English as well because like she didn't speak English as well. And so like they were like my mom.
Role models.
Yes, for sure.
That's amazing.
Oh, shout out to
I know, shout out
to all shout out to Kaimilawa, Ilima, and Campbell teachers. Y'all are the best.
Oh, sweet.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier. I know we're running kind of long, but
bitch, girl,
I
said, I will talk.
I know. So it's just like it's such a big part of you as well, and you're like in your spiritual self. You're into crystals and all that, and like you talked about your relationship with your grandmother.
Yes.
And then how you kind of grew up in that whole space. Like, so how do you kind of like find yourself spiritually, and like use that as like.
What are some of the practices?
Practices. Okay, so. Go off in a little tangent again. Growing up in the Philippines, it's almost you'd think that it's easy to be spiritual, but like growing up in a very Catholic country, it was hard. But when you have like such a spiritual figure like your grandmother who like raises you and just like nourishes you, it was like, oh my gosh, like I just wish like every gay kid was raised like this. Or like every kid in general. Like I was taught not to see people from like what is in between their legs. I was taught to see people from their light. There is no girl and boy. There's only good and bad people. Period. And intentions. Like and she taught me how to read people's intentions. Like I know you will hurt me just by looking at you and just by being around you. I know if you belong in my universe just by being surrounded by you, You
can pick up on
you
their
can
energy.
pick up on so much energy, like just from that. But practices that she taught me was like light therapy. She worked a lot with the sun, and so I would always catch this woman like going like this to the sun, like midday. Like she could be like laba. I'm sorry. Every time I speak about my grandma, my brain switches into Ilocano.
It's okay.
Laundry. She would be doing laundry, like like
and then she'd just pause
and she would just pause and she would just. And I was like, this bitch is so strange. Like, And like she would be like watering the grass, and she would be like not even like she was just like doing that.
She was finding the light.
Yes, and now I see myself like doing that in the morning. And something that she taught me is that, and something that really stuck with me is that she said that the purest light that you can absorb is the morning light. And so that's kind of how I became like a morning person. I always strive to meditate with the first strike of light that hits my home. And I feel like I get kisses from my grandma every time I do that.
I love that.
And I've been doing it a lot more often, actually, ever since I moved in Makaha, because it's easier to see the sun there. Oh my God, I'm getting like shivers right now. But yeah, it's just like small stuff like that. Like, just seeing people from who they truly are and not what is in between their legs. That is like one of the biggest thing that she taught me. And it was also weird because, like I said earlier, like we also grew up in a very Catholic part of the Philippines, so we still went to church. So like, you know what I mean? So it was almost like contradicting sometimes because my grandma would tell me something and then the priest would say another. But I remembered like one vivid day of just like she had this like really cool like fainting chair right next to her. Like
a what chair?
A fainting chair. It's like
from when you get like
it's like those old like woman like couches that like it's like a wood couch that's like shaped like a
like you just kind of lean back into
like a lazy boy?
It's shaped like a, is that what it's called?
What is
no,
that?
it's like one of those like long I don't know. Yeah,
it's like an Asian grandma couch.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called, but it has a really cool like engravings in it. It's like those ones, like the old like
the wood.
We'll
look it up.
And it's shaped like a wave. Anyways, she had one of those, and that was my chair to watch her do her makeup for church all the time, or wherever the fuck my grandma was going. It was either church or honestly, church was the only thing she cared about. I was gonna say she got ready for like Sunday brunches, but like, bitch, Filipinos, grandmas are not doing Sunday brunches, girl. But she would get ready for church, and I would like literally just sit there in awe of this woman, like. And she didn't really have that much makeup. She had like one powder, 3 lipstick. But I was watching her like, oh my gosh, like this girl is like, oh my gosh. And I would watch her like put on her stockings and like put on her like her Avon lotion that I swear stunk so bad. She like, but to me as a gay kid watching that, it was almost like an awakening and like seeing a woman like put on herself.
Yeah.
You know, like I would say that was when I fell in love with vanity. Like my grandma was the reason why I fell in love with women. And it's so bad that I'm gay and that I can't physically love y'all, but I love women like from just everything.
Yeah.
That makes a woman, like girl, period. But yeah, my grandma taught me that, like just from not even saying anything. But going back to my story, one time I was being extra annoying and I went up to her and I was just like, can I pick out your lipstick? Or I think I was actually playing with her lipstick already at this point. And she just turns to me and she patted me like 2 little dots on my cheek and like, you know, to put blush on. I don't know if there was any like product in that brush, but I think she was just trying to be cute, like, you know, putting. And I went to church that day feeling like the cuntiest motherfucking bitch in there, girl. I was like, all you girls out here are so damn ugly. Like, I'm the girl. And like at my church, there was like these 2 angels that was holding like this. Like, they was holding like this and like holy water in there. And I would like go in there and like, yeah, I got more blush than you. Like in my head, like I would be like cursing out like I was fighting these angels, girl. Like, my grandma put blush on me today, girl. You can't tell me shit. But I remembered one time the preacher was like talking about like homosexuality and like bakla, you know. And my grandma would turn to me and she would like, sometimes they're not right, or like sometimes you don't have to listen. And I was like, girl, I was not already listening anyway. If you think I come to church to listen, bitch, I'm here to show my blush. Like, sis, I'm here because I'm stuck with you, girl. Like, I'm here because my dad don't want to watch me. Like, what do you mean? I don't have to listen. I'm not.
Aww, yeah. She's like your angel.
She is. She is my guardian angel. I feel her all the time.
Yeah. Probably very connected with her, and yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And she and she wasn't new to like gayness or anything. I think her pussy's like cursed because a lot of her kids had gays. Had like my uncle had a gay son. I have aunties with gay like daughters. Yeah. So like, you know,
her pussy's cursed.
Her pussy's cursed, girl.
She produced them.
I remembered when my dad.
Curse, though.
I mean, yeah, it's not a curse. Yeah, her pussy's blessed.
Yeah, blessed.
Girl, she generating the next gays. But I remember when my dad was. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm gonna talk about this like so like nonchalantly. But I remember when my dad was dead and he was.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And he was in his casket and like honestly, such a weird way to start a story. But all of his relatives was, you know, like lined up, like seeing him, and all of them was like, "Oh, you're his gay one." I'm like, bitch. And then it didn't make sense until I learned that like they also had their gay ones.
Oh, so yeah.
So all of their like I think it's like a sibling joke that they have. Like each one of them has a gay daughter or son.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Are they still in the Philippines? Most of your cousins?
I don't know if I met all of my my dad's relatives. But for the ones that I have met, they are in the Philippines. But I think I've heard him say they have family in Cali. But
you might have some cousins popping up here.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
So if that's you, don't.
Hey, I'm your cousin.
No.
I'm the gay one.
Yeah. You'll get a bunch of DMs tomorrow. Yeah. I'm the gay cousin. I'm the gay one. No, that's.
But trust me, bitch. I have a story and a lesson for everything. Like you could tell me any topic, I have a story for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a great author, and that's why I'm writing my book.
Oh yeah. So that was.
Are we plugging that?
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying.
You're gonna write a book.
I'm gonna write a book. So if you're listening,
stay tuned.
Read my book.
It's not out yet.
Yeah.
But it will be.
So you've been involved with so many projects and all these things. You know, like what's next? Like what's exciting? What's exciting for you?
Well, something that I always write down and something that I always say, and I love saying things out loud, but I truly believe that I am the best entertainer of my time. And I believe that to be the best entertainer, you have to be entertaining in all aspects of entertainment. With that being said, I have entertained the world with my videos for a while now. And I said that I'm going to be entertaining the world with my words through my books. But I really feel like my ass is getting too fat for people's phones and their laptop screens. You know what I mean?
We need a bigger screen
we
for
need
Bretman
a bigger
Rock.
screen for Bretman Rock, and he will be. So that's one thing. But I've always been saying that before I was even like
exactly
so I could just be saying things to manifest, but Bretman Rock ass is getting too fat for phones. He needs a fucking movie screen.
We're waiting.
Exciting.
And that, and yeah, hopefully I don't sing.
Hopefully you don't.
Yeah, hopefully I don't sing. That's one thing that I
we don't want that.
That I don't need to be in the entertainment part, but I'd love to challenge and like find other ways as well for like to truly define what is entertainment.
That's,
because I feel like I found my home. I feel like I found where I belong, and I feel like regardless of like 10 years from now, 25 years from now, or even like, you know, when I'm dead, I think I truly just belong somewhere in front or in the back of the camera. So
I don't know about the back of the camera.
Yeah.
I know, but
Maybe
I've been loving.
I know you've been into your film photos and all that. Yeah.
I've been loving writing. I've been loving like writing stuff. So
That's
like
still your voice.
it is. So it's still in a way in front of the camera, but
In a different capacity.
I could write jokes. You know, I'm also writing since I already fucking slipped. I'm also writing a show.
God.
So yeah, those are my next things in
Nice.
life. So just continuously challenging the world of entertainment and what entertainment really is. Because Miss Girl, no one can motherfucking tell me that I did not at least is a part of the generation that pioneered influencer world
Oh,
and
100%.
and social media. Period.
Everybody knows it, and
Because I've been an influencer before y'all could even say influencer. I've been an influencer before y'all could even complain about a fucking algorithm. Okay?
before the algorithm, yep.
Before there was the algorithm, girl.
Yeah. Well,
So before we leave, you are the baddest bitch.
Thank you.
So for our viewers and our listeners, what are 3 tips you can give to be a bad bitch?
I would say, that's perfect because I believe that there's 3 rules in life.
Oh, there we go.
My first rule is obviously be nice to everybody. You never know who you're going to be nice to, assuming that you will be nice to that person. And rule number 2, I would say don't spend more than what you make.
that's a good lesson.
Because
you hear that, guys?
Struggle.
Because especially my generation, y'all need to motherfucking listen to that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like the last one is consistency is definitely key.
Oh, 100%.
With
I believe that.
Yeah.
freaking thing. And that's honestly just how I got to this point in my life. I was just consistently nice to everybody and consistently not spending more than what I make.
Yeah. Hey, you guys heard that? That's a secret.
That's a secret, yeah.
It's like
so disciplined too. And
Yes.
consistently disciplined.
Yes.
With your
with
workouts,
everything.
with everything.
Workouts and work.
Yeah.
That's
I love
awesome.
that.
Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having
so much.
me.
Everybody
oh my
knows where to
gosh.
find him, so we don't have to
Yeah,
mention
would you like to close out for us?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Not me opening and closing your own fucking podcast, bitch. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. I love this whole thing. And honestly, I feel like this was my sign to actually start my podcast.
Yeah, I feel like you should.
So this was
need
so
that.
fun. Like I feel like an hour went by so fast.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know. I forgot everything that I already talked about. We could talk about it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Everything is at Bretman Rock.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.